Ironically, no. I honestly say that. I think we've played good baseball. I think we're not performing, but I think we're winning. So that just tells me that everybody is looking and their mentality's in the right direction. I think that if we're able to keep this focus of what's most important, and then as well as start to perform as a group, I think it could be special.
Do you think that type of baseball is sustainable throughout the season? The fact that you said you're winning but not performing the way you would like to? Is it sustainable throughout the season?
I think over the course of 162, no. But also rarely ever do you have a group of guys with this level of talent that do not find some flow of performance at some point for 6 months.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. We are brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. I am Marty Caswell. That is Darren Smith. And today must be Tuesday because that is AJ Cassavell. How's everybody doing today on this Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? We made it?
You're the one that keeps track of that. I cover baseball, so I never know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, you sort of you operate by the schedule, right? Like, what week is it? It's Dodgers week and A's week, and for me, it's Vancouver week. So we have all these things mixing as well. But Marty, you literally just said it must be Tuesday because AJ Cassavell's here. What day is it? So
I just want to make sure. I just want to go ahead and make sure because
I was on Wednesday last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just feels like like the longest week ever. I don't know. Maybe it's because that's what Padres and Dodgers does to you. Maybe I'm discombobulated because there's like 100 members of the media in the Padres clubhouse yesterday, pre and post. So yesterday was just kind of it was like it was a busy, weird day. So I've lost a little bit of focus. So I apologize. So, hey, you guys, real quick, you guys heard Nick Castellanos right there at the open. And I actually really enjoy hearing from him and what he has to say. I think he answered the question we've been talking about really all season. The Padres are finding these weird ways to win. Not sustainable, correct? It was a 1-0 game like we saw yesterday. Michael King, gem, followed by Jason Adam, Mason Miller. Not sustainable. Or is it?
No, it's not sustainable. They're not going to win. They're not going to win the division this way. But, like, you win the division by winning some of these games when your guys are struggling. So it's like, I think he said it pretty well, probably better than I'm about to say it, but like, you expect the guys that have hit before to hit. And when they start hitting, you don't need to win these games 1-0. But because you've won these games 1-0, it's mid-May and your best hitters are struggling and you're still half a game ahead of the Dodgers. And that's where you want to be. And that's where they are right now. So like, I tend to agree with him that like the stars will come around. I'm also maybe more at a point where like it's been long enough where I'm like, are we sure? Like I'm pretty certain they're going to perform better than they have, but are we sure they're going to be all-star caliber the rest of the way, like they have been in their past? Like, can we expect from here to the end of the season, just because they're Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Jackson Merrill, can we expect them to have their career numbers? I am not willing to say that based on what I've seen from the first month and a half of the season, but maybe the Padres don't need that. They've built a roster here that is deep enough to withstand those guys not swinging as well as they could.
Yeah, I mean, I think, just sort of on the like basic foundation of it all, maybe the formula is we get some really good starting pitching and then our bullpen closes it down. Sort of seemed to be the theme of the night, and you get some contributions just enough to do what you have to do to turn the ball over to a good bullpen. Kind of heard that coming out of the Dodgers clubhouse last night. Like Michael King was spinning a gem and Morahone and Jason Adam. And then, even though they threatened Mason Miller a little bit in the ninth, like kind of came out of the Dodgers dugout, out of the Dodgers clubhouse post game last night. Like that's kind of what we need to avoid. We need to avoid being put in these situations. So I don't know. I mean, I tend to believe what AJ is saying is accurate, that it's, you're going to need it at some point. But in terms of just having, a basic, like, what is the identity? The identity is hopefully you get enough starting pitching, just enough offense, and you turn it over to the bullpen. So I don't know.
And I don't know. Another part of this is like, do they have enough starting pitching? Because Michael King was excellent yesterday. I think Michael King is really good. Like once you get past the injury concerns from last season and have established that he's Michael King again, Like I'm pretty confident that Michael King is one of the better pitchers in baseball. Beyond that, I'm not as confident in the rest of what the Padres have. I love Randy. I'm the biggest Randy Vasquez fan there is. His stuff
Yes, you
isn't
are.
Michael King's stuff. Like there's question marks as to how sustainable this is because they don't know what the health is of Pivetta and Musgrove, and so like this is the formula: get enough starting pitching, get enough offense, turn it over to the bullpen. Are they going to have enough starting pitching? They don't need Pivetta and Musgrove healthy as soon as possible. They need them healthy down the stretch. That's obviously the key. But I guess we'll kind of see how sustainable this formula is. They've obviously done an unbelievable job getting more out of their pitchers, more out of their starting pitchers than you would expect under Ruben Niebla in pretty much every year across the board. Whether it's a good rotation that becomes great, or whether it's a decent rotation that's good. So there's some like leeway to afford the Padres that like maybe they can make this formula sustainable, but I don't know that they have the starting pitching arms to keep that up with the Dodgers throughout the summer unless they can get some guys healthy.
Can I just jump in real quick? Can I just ask a quick question? Because AJ, I don't know if you've had time to look into this. I'm on the Baseball Savant page and usually give it just a quick peek to see, just to see where some of these things shake out. But objectively fair to say that was Michael King's best start of the season?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Just off the top of my head, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I realize we're doing this in the morning, so not everybody's. I don't know that anybody here has even showered, so everybody's working on maybe one cup of coffee. Okay, Marty has showered.
I've showered because they turned my water off at 8:00, so I had to shower. What is that?
Yeah, AJ's got his pump
Whoa.
over right
French
there.
press.
Incredible.
This is
Oh
my 30
French
ounces
press.
of coffee for the day.
Where'd you pick up that habit?
French press?
Yeah.
Back when I was doing overnights for MLB.com, I needed something to get me by. I couldn't get by on crappy coffee, so I started drinking good coffee.
Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. I was told once upon a time that Andy Green was a big fan of the French press, that he had a little French press system going on in the manager's clubhouse there.
Yeah, he was. Yes, we bonded over our love.
Is that
French
true?
press.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. See, I'm a whole bean guy, so I'm always about trying to find whole beaned and just grind them down here. Have a nice Breville machine. So, yeah,
Okay.
I like a person who's got sophisticated coffee takes, not like
I'm,
Marty who goes out there and gets Folgers.
Well, no, actually, I have Mr. Coffee. I literally, I have the same Mr. Coffee pot for the past 10 years. So I'm sure you guys can go ahead and look down on me.
So you'll have 30 ounces of coffee in the morning?
30 ounces of coffee is my whole day limit. I mean, I can tell you the whole story about this. It relates to Trent Grisham and Coors Field and a wedding that I went to. If we want to
100%.
diverge
This
from
is way
Padres
more
Dodgers
interesting
for
than
a second.
Tatis.
Yeah, so I think it was. I forget what year it was. It was either 21 or 23. One of the years where it went very poorly. I had a wedding on a Sunday in Pennsylvania, and the Padres played at Coors Field the next night. So I had a 6 a.m. flight out of Philadelphia to Denver, and I landed, and I really hoped that my hotel would be available, but it was not for whatever reason. Even though I was whatever Marriott status I needed to be, I couldn't check in. So I had maybe 2 or 3 cups of coffee to kind of get me by, and then I went to Coors Field and had 2 or 3 more cups of coffee, and then this game went. The game was relatively uneventful, and then Trent Grisham hit a game-tying home run in the bottom of the 9th inning, and I was just not going to make it unless I had another cup of coffee, and I did, and then it went 12 innings. I had another cup of coffee along the way, and then I had to film one of these when the game ended, the Padres lost. It was one of those agonizing. It must have been. You know what? I forget what season they were. 21 and 23 were so similar, but I think it was 23. I had to film one of those videos that I film every now and then for MLB.com. We used to do more of them. And I was in my hotel room afterward, and I was shaking because I had 11 cups of coffee. And so since then, I couldn't talk straight because I was so deliriously tired and so highly caffeinated that I said 30 ounces is the most I'll do from now on. And that's pretty much my daily intake regularly. But that's what I've limited myself to. It's basically.
Do you have a system? Do you have a plan for this? Will you have 30 ounces by a certain time, given that you have to cover a baseball game tonight? Will you save some for the start of a game? Are you routine oriented?
Save the last cup for right at the start of clubhouse opening or whatever, and then I go into.
Have you adjusted your habits ever since they've had the extra inning, the runner at second base rules? Because now you don't have to worry about and also the pitch clock, because now you can think, listen, with the exception of a couple series here or there when the Padres have played 2-1 games that somehow go 3.5 hours, most of your games are going to be under 3 hours. So you can time things out and have a different amount of coffee.
Yes, but I think that all coincided with also the wedding, so I haven't had to seriously adjust it. That day, I remember the wedding was very fun. I had a very good time, which probably contributed to how miserable I was feeling the next day in Colorado. But I just remember being so jittery, and you know what? The automatic runner rule was already in place then, because I remember being annoyed that it went 11 or 12 innings. Whereas back in the day, when it went extra innings, you were just 11, 12, it couldn't be very possible. So I'll have to find the exact game, but the Trent Grisham game tying homer in the ninth was what helped me toward limiting my caffeine intake daily. So anyway,
I think we all understand too. You're at a wedding, you're dehydrated, you're at altitude, you have a bunch of coffee, you're just all hopped up, and I could see all these things adding up to I've got to make a change. Yeah. All right, my last question on this is: do you where do you get your actual coffee from? Do you buy coffee? Do you grind your own beans? What do you do? Well,
Costco has Bird Rock, the big bags of it. So I usually just do that. But this is Ultrea in OB. It's a coffee shop down the road. They make their own beans, and it's very good. Joe Musgrove goes there sometimes. So all right, maybe he doesn't go there. He at least has the bags of it. It has a little coffee station in the clubhouse. So
he has his own coffee station.
It's very good.
Man, knows his beans.
Very elaborate.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, that question was about Michael King, everybody. So yes, he
yes.
the
I
best game of the season.
Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. I know Craig Salmon said yesterday that was his best start as a Padre, and of course Michael King, who was unhappy with all of his agreeing with that assessment. So we'll see. Hey, I want to make sure. Listen, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but it's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. I want to give you guys plenty of time to declare why the Knicks are going to run away, Darren, with the East. But before we get there, you were not there in Seattle, right, for Giolito, because you were collecting Anders Dreyer bobblehead at Snapdragon.
Yes.
AJ?
Yes,
Did you get
I have a bobblehead.
You have a bobblehead. Where did you? We'll get there. But what did you think of his first start as a Padre?
Oh, Giolito's first start. I thought it was. Obviously the sixth inning, you take it for what it was. It was not. It was not ideal to be walking 3 hitters, but they had a 6-run lead at the time, so I think it's completely excusable. I think it's about what you would want from Giolito, coming back from all the time off that he had. I would be a little concerned with maybe the fastball velocity and how well the stuff will play against a really good lineup in a hitting environment. But I also don't think the Padres are expecting Giolito to be their number 2 starter. I think they're expecting him to come in, cover innings, which they desperately need right now. They're asking a lot of their bullpen right now. So if Giolito can come in, be a number 4 starter who can throw 6 innings and maybe give up 3 or 4 runs, totally fine. And that's what I think the Padres can kind of expect, and that's what I saw from that outing.
Yeah, it's exactly why I was on Baseball Savant, actually, as I was looking at Giolito to see. And I was going to ask AJ, because I think you would know this stuff more than I. You mentioned the fastball velocity. When would we expect him to be where he would be normally per his career, right? Because he's 3 miles per hour off where he was, but he didn't have spring training, and this is his first big league start. So is there, there is a period here where we're expecting him to build up, right?
Yes.
He went out there, but I'm not putting too much into that today, right? That's something maybe we monitor and we think about, after 3 or 4 starts, or how would you view that?
Well, I think it being what it was, what was it in that start?
90.
Around 90?
Yeah.
And
he's not a huge fastball guy, right? It was the 94, I think was where he was last year.
It's the changeup, and it's he's pretty good with locating too. So it's not like he needs big time velocity. It needs to be higher than 90, I think, going forward. But he's you got to give him probably, 3 more starts, because 4 starts, which is what he made in the minor leagues. Guys make more than 4 starts in spring training. So he had a quicker build up because he was ready to throw 3, 4, 5, 6 in the minors, and in spring training you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But guys aren't at their peak fastball velocity in early to mid-March, which I think is more or less where Giolito is if you're contextualizing his build-up. he's clearly healthy enough and strong enough to go 6 innings, but maybe not with the full Lucas Giolito arsenal. So I would say like that fastball should tick up, but it being 90 was, I mean, that did like raise an antenna for me. Like you want it to be more than that.
Can you two talk to us commoners here who aren't in the clubhouse and aren't in the press box? Can you talk to us a little bit about Rodolfo Duran? Tell us a little bit about his story. I know he's 1 for 12 and he's got a jack out of that, but a factor last night. A couple of caught stealings, and clearly he has a little bit of the touch with the ABS. Freddie Fermin's kind of gone into a slump with this sort of stuff. Again, I'm kind of curious. I don't know how long he's going to be around here, but I'm curious to know a little bit about his story about the 28-year-old. Is it 28-year-old who's here with the Padres and like clearly made a difference, at least in a baseball game against the Dodgers, which is certainly how you earn your stripes around these parts. Yeah,
I mean, 12 years in the minors, Yankees, Royals. I don't know if there was another team in there, but like that's cool. That's just cool. Like I know. Rodolfo Duran comes up and you kind of expect him to maybe go back down as soon as Camposano is healthy. But like anyone who puts 12 years in the minors wishing for their shot in the big leagues and then comes up and hits a home run, like that's just awesome. That stuff is, I don't know. That's very cool story, regardless of what happens from here on out. I think when he signed with the Padres, they knew he was a pretty good defender. They knew he worked well with pitchers. They knew he had a cannon for an arm, and they were like, well, let's have a good defensive catcher at AA or at AAA, and let's sign this free agent who can work with our pitching staffs, and we'll probably, and this is my words, not theirs, we'll probably never see the big leagues because he can't hit. And then all of a sudden, he started to hit, and he didn't start to rake, but he started to hit enough to be considered a viable depth option. And here he is in the big leagues at the first result of an injury. And it's like, even though he 1 for 12, is that what you said? Yeah. Like his at-bats have looked better than that. He's hit into some very hard outs. So, like, why not?
He's in good company on the hard hit outs.
Yeah.
Right. This is
on the right team.
By the way, you mentioned the teams. Okay, so he's played with the Phillies, or the minor league organization. The Phillies, the Royals, Yankees, for the Padres, also played in the Dominican Winter League, and was that close to his very first 2-homer game in Seattle. And throwing out 2 runners yesterday, likely difference makers, Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts. Pretty decent for Duran. Now, what a great story. And better in the ABS, much better than for me. By the way, I know what you're looking for from a catcher as far as production, but do you think that catchers who can nail the ABS are going to have a bigger advantage than those who struggle balls and strikes on the challenge?
It's the new pitch framing.
I mean, right? It's a tool.
I'm skeptical of that because I don't know how good you can be at ABS. I think you can go into slumps and you can go into hot streaks, but like, and clearly Freddie Fermin has missed some lately, and I think he might be in his own head and maybe getting a little emotional with some of the challenges. Like, you really want this call, like that's. But I don't know. I want to see it before I declare that like this is this huge advantage because you can turn one ball into a strike, which is obviously a huge advantage. But like, how do we know who's good at it? Is the sample big enough to know that Rodolfo Duran is good at it? He had a great game at it yesterday, and he changed some very important pitches. But let's wait and see.
Right. Plus, you don't even know that you're going to have them because your hitters might screw the whole thing up by using them by the second inning. So,
yes.
It could be one of these skills that like you don't even have in an important moment when you need it. Although I still continue to be fascinated by the strategy of ABS because if you don't have one there in the 9th inning, then who knows? Then you're 2-0 to Will Smith, and I don't know what we're talking about this morning. I still believe in Mason Miller, but like, it could be a different game. It could be something totally different than what happened, and we'll never know the answer to that.
Yeah, which does go against because I am generally pro use them early. You got to be pretty sure, but use them early. Like if you get to the end of the game with both your challenges, you didn't use them right. You need to be because you didn't get the full maximum advantage of challenging pitches that you think might you know what I mean? Like if you don't use them, you don't gain the advantage of them. So saving them, you could win a game in the 3rd inning. Yesterday, this was a play at first base, but I thought that Tatis play down the line, the infield hit, he could have been safe, and they didn't use it. And I'm just thinking, well, how does that change the game? If you're up 3-0 in the ninth inning instead of 1-0. So that being said, if Mason Miller doesn't have that, or if Duran doesn't have that challenge yesterday, and it's 2-0 on Will Smith with 2 runners on base, and you're staring down those hitters, I don't know. He's still Mason Miller. He figured it out. That was I thought. I mean, if we want to pivot to that real quick, like I thought that was as impressive a Mason Miller outing as I've seen, just because how many closers have you seen on a night where they like don't have it, and it becomes kind of evident pretty quickly, like, this isn't the guy that I've watched the first 20 times this season. This is a different guy. This guy's gonna give it up. He's probably gonna blow this. Like, that was my thought after 2 batters. I was like, all right, this is the one where I got to write that Mason Miller blew the save. And then he just turned it on and not only like figured it out, it wasn't like him like finding a way to get by. No, he turned it on and was dominant again. And maybe it took through the Will Smith at bat to fully figure it out, but the last 2 hitters didn't stand much of a chance. So as a lot of the questions to him and to Stammen yesterday were like, kind of like, what's wrong? What's wrong with Mason Miller? Like, what was going on with the command issues? Was he working too much? And I get those because those are valid questions, but like, let's also recalibrate here that like this guy just shut out the Dodgers in the 9th inning, one of the best lineups in baseball, moved the Padres in the first place, and that was his off night. That was that was a down game for Mason Miller.
Yeah, and I'd love to know too, how many times has Mason Miller allowed, or how many times have the Dodgers gotten the first 2 guys on in an inning, right, at that point in the lineup and not figured out a way to score, right? Probably doesn't happen very often for them. And I also, I think it was on Marty Time TV, where Marty, was they were interviewing, or maybe you were there too, AJ, but Miller was talking about this after the game. And, he's talking about like, I don't think about my mechanics when everything's going well, because why would you? You don't want to be in your own head. Yeah. But now I'm starting to think maybe my mechanics are a little bit off, and Ruben comes out for the talk. And then there's something about the leg, which I'm not qualified fully to understand. But it makes you think, for anybody who's ever played golf, like when it's going good and then all of a sudden you shank one into the woods, you're like, what did I do different? Like, was my hand in the, and then you start getting in your own head a little bit. And it sounds like that's what Mason Miller's going through, except the difference is it's Mason Miller pitching against the Dodgers in an NL West showdown in front of 40,000 people at Petco Park, not me or you or anybody else at Balboa hitting off the 13th tee after 3 beers, right? So like it just
that's not what I do when I golf though. I just hit it. I don't even think what went wrong there. I just hit it again and it goes wrong again.
But it's cool, like the way he's thinking. He's like, I don't think about it when it's going well, but now all of a sudden he's like, oh, am I doing something different? Is something wrong? Is something this? Is something like?
Well, I think the other good thing with about Mason Miller is that when Niebla came out last night, like he knew what Niebla was going to say. It was, and like you, I'm not as qualified to talk to the details of pitching mechanics, but he wasn't finishing as strong on his front foot as he should have been. And Niebla went out to tell him that, and also give him a little bit of a pep talk. And like Mason Miller needed to hear that from Niebla, because like that's what a pitching coach is for. But it was also exactly what he expected to hear, because he's that in tune with his mechanics and what needs to change. And then he went out and changed it. Like when you shank your drive into the woods and you're like, oh yeah, my elbow, I probably didn't bring it back or whatever it is, you don't just fix it on the next swing. It doesn't just come to you. But like that was what I think was so impressive yesterday. And he's like, that's why he's the best. That's why he's the best in baseball at it.
And if you can, this is just what Craig Stammen had to say about that moment. I mean, it's always strange. It's been shocking this year to be reminded once in a while that Mason Miller is in fact a mortal. But this is
I think we were spoiled for the first month of the season and how electric he was and how he didn't miss a pitch for like a month, and so when he misses a pitch, we get a little worried, or like tonight he walked 2 guys. But I think maybe something to do with it. Going 1+, throwing 33 pitches is not easy when you're not used to doing that, and especially that high intensive situation, throwing that hard, it's not an easy thing to recover. He's doing everything behind the scenes that we could ever ask of him, and it's our job to be very cognizant of keeping him healthy and not overusing him.
I thought a couple of us talked to Ruben last night after the game, and I thought he had a very interesting kind of maybe insight, maybe like he's trying to fire up Mason Miller a little bit, but he basically kind of tongue in cheek said, you know what? He was historically good for the first month. Like maybe he's just coming back down from historic to great. And like, I think he said that with like a little smirk on his face. Like he knew that maybe it's something he's either told Mason or he knew Mason would hear and he knew Mason wouldn't like because Mason's not satisfied with being great. He wants to be like the best. He wants to be the best closer in baseball that no one can touch. And I think that's a good insight into a competitor's mindset. Like Mason Miller still hasn't blown a save, and yet he was kind of annoyed by how he pitched yesterday. He just the 2-time reigning World Series champions. He just got a save against them to move the Padres ahead of them in the division and looked pretty dominant at the end of that outing. And he was, from my perspective, from what I could tell, he's a pretty emotionless guy, but from talking to him, like he looked a little irked with his performance, which I like. That's kind of cool to see.
Maybe he was irked because there was a larger than normal scrum around him in the post game.
There was a long Mason Miller scrum.
It was. We were getting his whole life story there. Respectfully, I know people have jobs to do, but we were getting the whole life story.
Well,
no. Those just real quick.
But
those
others of us have jobs to do upstairs writing the stories. So
anyway. There are certain stories you do pregame. So if you're not pregame, you can't just show up in postgame and ask your life story questions. You can't write your biography in postgame. I'm annoyed.
Yes, let it out.
I was rolling my eyes. I was sending
daggers.
I was ready to fight people. I'm like, come on, let's go, man.
I know. I was like, who is this asking the questions about why he's not a starter anymore? I mean, this has been covered. Like, don't you have a search engine, my guy?
Okay,
I will just say this, Marty, because you brought up the Eastern Conference playoffs. I will just say, full disclosure, I dipped out of this game for a huge stretch because I was watching the Western Conference final between San Antonio and Oklahoma City, which was one of the best basketball games that I've seen all season. And right at the end of double overtime, I switched over to the Padres, and Mason Miller was coming in. They were doing the whole corn thing. I was like, wow, this is perfectly timed. So I missed, 4 or 5 innings, but I got to see a great basketball game. And then as soon as the basketball game was over, I logged on to my MLB.TV app, which fired right up, old reliable.
Yeah. And
then I was able to watch Mason Miller come into this game and see the drama so I could talk about it this morning. So I got the best of both worlds last night.
It was a good baseball game. It was a pretty good, even though it was 1-0.
It was a better basketball game.
I'm sure it was. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw the shot.
I mean, my God, you have a 7'4" guy hit a 30-point three-pointer down 3 in overtime. It was amazing.
There are times where like cool sports stuff like that happens while I'm at a Padres game, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching this. At least last night, I was like, this is a good ball game, good vibe, good atmosphere.
It should have been a 2 television night. It should have been a 2 TV night, but I was downstairs. There's only 1 TV down there, and wife was heading out of town this morning, so I had to suffer like everybody else.
So half your attention was on Western Conference Finals. The other half was with Leah. So normally your attention is 2 TVs, right? But because Leah was busy, you give her half your attention.
Yeah, I mean, she was doing work stuff, but she allowed me to watch, and she was occasionally interested in the basketball as well. Again, I mean, it was like you said, I know it was a really, really good matchup. It's Padres, Dodgers, and King and Yamamoto. That was really, really good. And Mason Miller in the drama, 1-0. A lot of times 1-0 games can be truly terrible. It felt like there was good drama in that one last night, so not knocking it, but objectively, the basketball game was off the scales.
Darren, there are plenty. I promise you this. In a packed press box, plenty of laptops had the NBA on.
Yeah. So, and Wembanyama and I mean, it was just he's an incredible guy to watch. So I don't know. I mean, how often do you see? That's like Steph Curry-esque watching what it was that he did last night. But again, I got the best of both worlds because I got to see the thing that we talked about for 15 minutes today. So all's well, I suppose, around these parts. Nice. Was AJ one of those that had the laptop open? And because at that point, like I said, it timed out perfectly to deliver
too late in the game
to the 9th inning. Yeah.
I'm a first, second inning. If there's something going on, I'll watch it in the first and second inning, and that's about it. That's about as far as I'll go.
Okay. We'll know where you'll be a little later on tonight.
Hey,
tonight will be a 2 TV night for me.
Okay, good.
Big TV, I'm sorry, everybody's going to be the Eastern Conference final.
AJ, do you have a review from your Saturday night, the beer scene and the soccer scene at Snapdragon?
The beer scene at Snapdragon.
Which
I had a couple L. Smith party tricks.
Very nice. I love that.
They were good.
I love party tricks.
Yes. Good beer, good time. Sat midfield, way up high. Just a bummer of an ending. Like, I don't know, Darren. Like a inexcusable ending. I don't know what to make of it. I haven't watched the team. Like, I basically the Padres season started more or less I locked in after the second Toluca match. So like they had looked great, and then they didn't look great in that match, but it was at Toluca and it was completely explainable. And then I kind of stopped watching. And then I checked into that Austin match a little bit, and they looked great again. And so I showed up expecting them to look great, and I think I maybe got a taste of some of, like, they looked great at times, and then maybe some of the holes that were there to be exposed, like, wasn't as crisp in the midfield. They're giving some passes away that I didn't see before, and then some of the defending. Like, I mean, the last goal is just so entirely inexcusable, but I'm sure they would say the same thing. But I don't know. What did you make of that game? I
thought it was again, objectively, I thought it was a lot of fun. I really
had a great time.
There have been other games where I've walked out of that building pretty pissed. Like, oh, I can't believe 9 minutes of injury time and screwed by the referee, and this guy didn't perform well. I think this is one where you're playing a good team. Cincinnati's good. Cincinnati was second in the Supporter Shield standing last year, so like they've been off to a little bit of a bumpy start, just like SDFC. You have a 66 point team from last year and a 63 point team, and both of them have hit a little bit of early season turbulence. Sounds familiar, red cards and injuries and such. You're right about the midfield. I think this is one where given the DNA of what SDFC is all about with playing younger players, this is one that'll probably be one of the great learning lessons of the season for younger players. Because at the end of this game, AJ, 19-year-old goalkeeper, two 19-year-old fullbacks, a 20-year-old center back, 17-year-old midfielder who looked like he had the game-winning assist until 90 seconds later.
That goal deserved to be. That was such a. That deserved to be a winner. It was such a good freaking goal.
21-year-old, 19-year-old, 23-year-old. So and your captain. You're without your captain. So Marcus Ingvartsen's wearing the captain's armband, and he scores this goal that puts you up 3-2. They came back from 0-1, from 1-2 to level at 2-2, and then in the 95th minute they go ahead up 3-2. And then 96 seconds later, they give up the equalizer. Again, I think it's one where they just thought the game was over. And because you have it, like I said, 19, 20, 17, 19. Like this is one now I think where those guys will never forget what it was that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And will be better for it. And your captain scored the game-winning goal. So I understand his head is probably spinning a little bit, thinking he just had the game winner. And, there's some veteran players on Cincinnati and give them credit because they actually passed the ball like 5 times before they bombed it all the way down the field and scored the equalizer instead of just thinking that it was over. So, it sucks. And, we've dropped points now against Dallas late, Real Salt Lake late, Portland late, LAFC late, right? So it's a theme. There's no doubt about that. It's something that I'm sure, at the end of the season, if you're, within that margin of points dropped late, you're going to feel really terrible about some of these situations. But this is one where I think, you're playing a good team that was sort of out on its feet and they just did something so fluky. It never should have happened. I know there's been some conversation about where the back line should have been, but I do think that they will be better for that one. Unlike some of these other ones where you just walk out, you're like so pissed. You're like, God, why did that happen? That was frustrating, and that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't have happened. But again, I think given just the chaos of the moment, these young guys probably just sort of lost track of where they were and what was going on, and they pay the price for it. But if you don't learn from it, then I think you're probably in the wrong place. So again, I don't mean to make excuses. It shouldn't happen. It did. And, again, it's now 4 straight, at least with a result, and maybe a big opportunity on Saturday night to put it all together, go into the World Cup break on a high note against Vancouver.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting way. That's a good way of putting it that I kind of hadn't thought of. One of the things I did notice was like after they concede that goal, just kind of how distraught they all are. And like
they all hit the deck.
They all hit the deck, and I appreciate that. I'm a body language observer. I mean, it is kind of part of my job. And like that was as crushing as it should have been.
Yep.
I guess is the way is the way I would put it. It was, because it was a game they should have won, and I guess you can't say they should have won it because that last goal is a part of it, but you got to defend it. It's that's as savvy as Cincinnati was passing the ball around, setting up what they got. That's an easily defensible ball, and it wasn't some 40-yard screamer that they tied the game with.
Right.
And it was
just a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
It was just the most. I was sitting there shocked. I didn't even know what to say. But how do we even describe this? What just happened? This guy just bombed it from 50 yards away, put it on a dime to the runner who actually had
it was
the
a great
restart.
ball. Yeah.
Yeah, and this guy's falling down. It bounces off his forehead. The other dude's standing there. Now, if you have somebody on the field here who's getting everybody organized in that situation, like a Yepe or an Anibal Godoy, maybe.
And some of those guys are back.
But these guys, dude, that was a 17-year-old who thought he just had the game-winning assist. 17 years old, Pedro Soma's back in the game. He's 19, So, I understand, we don't want to make excuses because they're professionals and they're expected to perform. That's why they're being given these opportunities. But in a situation like that, it's one of those, I think they'll tuck it away. And they'll be like, yeah, I can remember that time when we thought we had it won and we didn't have it won and we all kind of fell asleep thinking the game was over. I hope that's the learning lesson from this. But again, it's disappointing. And it's disappointing because it comes, like I said, where you've dropped 2 here, 2 there, 2 here, 2 there. I think the total's 9 now that they've dropped after the 85th minute. And those things add up. They've added up. And it might, I don't think it'll keep them out of the playoffs, but it could keep you from a better seed for sure. So. And we'd be having a much different conversation about SDFC if these points hadn't been dropped, or even if, 5 of them hadn't been dropped or whatever, however arbitrary the number is. But, it just was this chaos. It was just this total chaotic moment where I got home and my wife was like, what a great win. I'm like, oh, you turned it off, didn't you? You didn't even see the end of the game. People ever thought it was done, including my person that I live with. So.
Well, and the MLS schedule is more forgiving when it comes to learning experiences. We all know, you can't do that and hope to win the Premier League because you need to finish first to win the Premier League. You don't need to finish first to win the MLS Cup. You need to finish within the top, preferably within the top 4 so you get home games, but really, realistically, within the top 9. So,
there's 20 more to go.
Get these learning experiences now and use them. I guess that's kind of what my take is.
The real shame of that game will be if those players don't learn from that moment because, again, I know they're drilled on it, but, when there's 6 minutes of injury time added and you score at 95-45, it's easy to think this one's done. It's over. And then, pass, long pass, header, goal, 13 seconds from the restart. That's how long it took. 13 seconds. And it's what the fuck just happened here? It was stunning. So, like I said, I walked out of that building way more pissed off than that. But, I think,
I had a great time.
I think they look like themselves. They scored 3 times, and there's some things to like, but ultimately it's a results-based business. I understand that.
I didn't miss not being in Seattle. I love Seattle, such a good city, but I had a great weekend. I had a great weekend off. I needed one of those. So,
good for you.
Despite the SDFC result.
Yeah.
Real quick, AJ, have you finished your carafe of coffee? And who has the noise in the background? No. Normally it's me. Is that you? Do you have a vacuum cleaner, Darren, or a dishwasher?
No.
I have a fan going right next to me. Did that just clear it up?
Ah, that's what it was.
Is it hot?
It's been on the whole time.
Is it hot by the beach?
No, it's not even hot.
No, it's perfect.
I don't know why the fan was just on all morning, and I didn't turn it off. That's my bad. I ruined the whole podcast, didn't I?
No. It was excellent. You guys took it away. You enhanced it. That was good.
Are you confident about the Knicks?
Marty's just happy that somebody else has some distracting background noise for a change.
Yes. They told me here I should prepare for 6 weeks of construction.
It's been 6 years. Who are we kidding here?
I know that's true. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren, are you confident about the Knicks?
You are.
I never am. I'm a Knicks fan. We've been
can't be confident.
The worst thing that could happen probably will happen. Now, was I looking at flights to San Antonio earlier today? Yeah, I was.
And
well, that's just realism.
Yeah,
I
just wanted to get a sense of what was going on there.
What did you book one? Did you book a refundable? Why would you not
book a non-refundable?
No,
the Knicks group chat is thinking about Cleveland. I don't think I'm going to make it to Cleveland.
How many people are in the Knicks chat?
4, 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you're never confident, right? I mean, age-old question, rest versus rust, because Cleveland and Detroit played till the 7th game. The Knicks haven't played in 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah, the Nets group chat is sad these days.
Yeah, good.
Sad place to be.
Probably almost as sad as the Phillies group chat or the Sixers group chat.
The Sixers have hope. They have good players.
I saw
I don't
on
know.
the side of Madison Square Garden, there's a huge sign of Jalen Brunson, this huge billboard, and it says "too much to process," which made me smile.
I appreciated that because
Yeah.
the process is one of the worst things that's ever happened in sports.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was and I'm saying it was a bad strategy. It was just the worst. So
Yeah, tickets
it
at
makes me
Madison
happy
Square
that it
Garden.
has not worked out.
It hasn't, and plus he just sucks. Like that guy's just annoying. On SeatGeek,
I'm just talking about the process in general, less so Embiid. I have come around on Embiid a little bit. I think he's matured a little bit, but the whole process.
Guys, he's a fake.
Losing on purpose.
$522 is the
for 10 years
walk-in
straight.
price tonight at Madison Square Garden. $522 for standing room only seat at Madison Square Garden.
What?
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, do you get a drink with that? 500. Whoa.
522 is walk-in. The best deal according to SeatGeek
Yeah.
is for a pair of tickets for $10,626. So, you guys think Padres and Dodgers tickets are expensive?
They are.
Marty knows because she bought some, didn't she?
Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, tomorrow. Otani's going tomorrow.
Marty's got the fam going out to see Shohei
The
Ohtani.
whole family's going tomorrow.
AJ,
So,
can one of you two, since you guys both, I'm sure, will be there before the Craig Stammen today, can we get Craig Stammen involved in some sort of controversy with the Dodgers? Can we get him to attack the Dodgers using this loophole for Shohei Ohtani to have an extra pitcher on the roster?
Craig
Spice
Stammen
it up.
He's not
We're
going to spice
trying.
it up.
he's so diplomatic.
You know what? You know what? He doesn't need to spice it up. It'll get spicy at some point if they're both good enough, and it kind of looks like they are. So it'll get spicy in some way. I suspect it won't be Craig Stammen driving it. That's my prediction.
Has anybody asked him what he thinks of this loophole that the Dodgers are driving the Ohtani bus through?
That's a great line of questioning today, if not tomorrow ahead of his start. AJ,
No one has asked him. You know what? I can predict his response. It would be something along the lines of him bringing up his career batting average, which is pretty good, and how he would have exploited the loophole as a player.
Is that right?
Okay.
His career batting average was very good. Like for a relief pitcher, he pinch hit a couple times. Andy Green used him as a pinch hitter a time or two. I remember him getting an important single somewhere. I'm not making this up, but I don't remember any of the specifics of it. But he was a good hitter. I want to say 227 career batting average. Can look
That's
this up
deep.
real fast.
That would lead. That would get him a spot in the starting lineup.
Yeah, is that
Yes, he could be the leadoff hitter.
what is the Padres batting average this season? Is it higher or lower than
30th
Craig
in the league.
Stammen's
It's
career batting
222.
average?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's
I
find
don't
out.
think it went
Craig
up
Stammen's
after
career
last
batting
night.
average.
What, 4 hits yesterday?
Also, by the way, batting average is relatively unimportant in all this, but
Right.
I'm
We know the batting average is unimportant. It's all about hard hit outs.
well. That's also unimportant because they're hard hit outs. But 218.
Thanks.
So Craig Stammen slightly below the current 2026 Padres batting average.
The Padres batting average has dropped during their 4-game winning streak. Think about that.
It's true.
Lordy.
Crazy. Yeah. And I mean, Craig Stammen could be one of the top 3 hitters for the Padres.
He was a good hitter. Like he took some quality at bats. I vividly remember this because I remember a couple times being like, "What the hell are they doing?" And it either working or looking like it might have worked. So that's my prediction for his take on the Ohtani loophole, which I could not be more indifferent to the Ohtani loophole.
I don't
Like,
even
I
understand.
I understand the arguments for both sides of it. It was put into place when Ohtani was an Angel. Like everyone knew the rule. The Dodgers signed him knowing the rule. I think strategically, if you're trying to make sense of it, if you're trying, like the reason the rule exists is because you don't want more than 13 pitchers on a roster because then otherwise teams will be loading too many pitchers onto their roster and gaining an advantage while slowing the game down because you have extra pitchers. It makes sense for the loophole not to be in place. Like, I think that's what I believe. but I also understand why it exists. And so, like, this is not something I have some very deeply held opinions about baseball rules, and this is not one of them.
What's the Abraham Lincoln meme that was
the controversial one that everyone hates is my infield fly rule take, which is just that I don't think the infield fly rule should exist, but we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. That can be maybe for another show.
Let's do that, because they're going to turn my water back on temporarily before they turn it off again. So I've got to bounce. But this is my idea for next week's show.
Haven't you already showered?
No, but there's other stuff I have to take care of before I hit my project, before I go to Petco Park. I have projects, okay? But real quick. So for next week,
infield
Darren,
fly rule. We can go deep into it. Maybe something will happen.
Give me your
maybe there'll be some infield fly controversy, and the basis of my take is that I understand why it exists. Everyone likes to yell at me like, "Here's why it exists, because you got to protect the run." And I say, "No, you don't have to protect the runner. Screw that. Let's have some fun. Let's have some excitement. Let a ball drop and turn a crazy double play. Let's make a pop fly, the most boring play in baseball, exciting."
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking about Tatis.
How would you score that though?
Balls, but
fielder's choice, or
I don't know. We got to get creative.
Are you going to give somebody a hit, or like how's it going to work?
Well, if the ball drops and they reach first base, then yeah, they get a hit.
Or do they get a fielder's choice if you get the lead runner at third or whatever? I don't know.
I don't think it's that important how it's scored. I think it's important that.
Do you guys still score the game?
Yes.
Yep.
I do.
You do, like with a pen and paper? Like
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
How else would you score it?
I don't know. I figured by now somebody's invented some sort of algorithm for this.
You can it is scored in a couple of different sites. You can just click on a scorebook that has it scored for you.
Okay.
I just find it's a way to, like, it's easy frame of reference. I have little things in my scorebook that I make note of, like when a certain play happens, so that when I'm writing about it, I can just look, there was that play. Like, I don't write, like, I'll write, it's not just a fly out to 9 is not a 9 for me. It's a FD 9, like fly out deep to right, like little things that I know what play happened where.
Right.
So it
do you
has
save
some
all of
value,
this?
but it's more just quaint. Yeah, they're all my scorebooks. All my scorebooks from. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. All my scorebooks since 2016 are downstairs in the basement. And here's the cover. You got.
Oh, it's
Wow,
that's adorable. Wow, that's adorable.
Do you get a new cover picture every year?
New cover picture every year. I don't think I finished last night. Yeah, Mason Miller got me 2. I made it through 2 walks, and then I didn't finish the 9th inning. So I'll fill that in when I get to the ballpark today.
Marty, what's your strategy here? You're a pack rat. You keep all this stuff.
I do for notable games. Like I used to keep them all, but now I don't anymore. But if there's like a playoff game, I might go ahead and do that. Like I have these cool lineups, like in the early days of Petco Park, and there's like Khalil Green in that lineup. I mean, I have some good things to look at. So, but no, now
right, Khalil.
No,
Green.
I do Khalil Green. I know.
What are you gonna do with that?
Nothing. But it's in a shoebox with some of my early credentials and paper tickets underneath my bed. Just certain things I'll go ahead and keep. But like now, like am I keeping from last night? No. All right. Listen, I need to go. I've got things to do. AJ Cassavell, next week when you join the show, I'm looking forward to finding out about your rule changes. We'll find out if Darren actually bought a ticket for a Knicks game. And then I do want to ask you guys about the summer vacations that you have planned and trips you have planned based around the World Cup and ticket prices. So we'll get there next week. I cannot handle this construction. It's making me insane. Okay. Are we good? Everyone's good?
I think
I'm
we're
good. I'm great.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. I will make sure this is available immediately on the pod. There's AJ Cassavell with his French press. There's my Mr. Coffee from Target behind me, which I need to get some more coffee. Marty Caswell, Dee Smith, AJ Cassavell were brought to you by the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort, the Players Place. Thank you so much for watching, and listening. We'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Craig said that was one of your best games as a Padre. Do you feel like that was your best?
Absolutely not. No. Craig's being nice there. Ruben and I talked for a while after I was done in the dugout, and I still, I feel like my sinker command's still not there. The sweeper was really bad today. But like I said, Duran called a really good game, and that was able to keep them off balance. So I can't wait to have all pitches, and I'll let you know when I have all 4 of those, so we can have